here from Rooftop Lighting. How's it going today, Kyle?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for making some time for us today. We're going to talk a bit about your rooftop lighting business, which is kind of a seasonal thing because we just kind of got through Christmas and you were busy putting up Christmas lights and whatnot. But we are also looking ahead already to next year. But your day job, you're a firefighter, correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's my full-time career.
So tell me a bit about how it is you got to saying, well, maybe I could do this as sort of a business, a side gig, as something extra, obviously as the holidays are coming on and people want, Christmas lights and want somebody else to install them for them.
Yeah, that's a great question. My wife and I moved up to Fort St. John in 2018 for work. And prior to that, I had worked installing Christmas lights for a few years in the Lower Mainland. And it's a big business down there. And as soon as we moved up here, and I was looking around at all the Christmas lights in the holiday season, I just noticed they don't have anyone doing professional lighting. You can kind of just tell when you look at Christmas lights; they have a certain look to them.
Yeah,
you can tell if they're bought in the big box store or if it's a professional grade. Mm-hmm. And so I was telling some coworkers about this, and one of them was like, "Well, can you do my house?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, yeah, I know how. I know the suppliers." Like, "Well, can you do it this year?" It's like, "Sure." So I did it for him, and then some more coworkers wanted it, and then their neighbors and their friends, and quickly I realized that this could be a good business to start. Mm-hmm. And then finally, once I had some time this year, I started it and kind of did some active advertising and got some business through the community.
Yeah. And as you say, it's kind of, you're looking at commercial grade lights that you install that are just generally a higher quality. I think most of the time these are, you were saying, I don't know if they have to be, but you put them up permanently because lots of people around here leave their Christmas lights up all year round because, well, you're going to take them down in March and put them back up 5 months later. Anyway,
That's right.
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're commercial grade, so they are a lot more durable. Mm-hmm. So I offer a 5-year warranty. So once I put the lights up, if any issues happen, I cover it for 5 years. I expect them to last much longer.
Yeah.
A lot of people tell me a similar story is that they go to the big box store, they buy Christmas lights, they have to hang them up. They come in set lengths, so they're wrapping around the corner and they're not really going how they want it to. Mm-hmm. And then they only last a year or two and they're falling down, then they have to repeat the process.
Yeah.
And so the solution to that is something that I provide. And so it's a higher quality light, higher quality clip, so it stays on. And if one bulb burns out, it doesn't take out the whole line, but I also have the ability to custom cut the line. So I can put the lights exactly where you want them to go, and you don't end up with kind of little strings wrapped around or on your roof.
I see.
And I also build all my own extension cord, so it kind of tucks away and is hidden nicely. So that way they stay up, they look nice. You pay a little bit more up front, but you get that duration out of them. And so that's the main difference between the two.
Well, tell me a bit about the process then. I mean, someone calls you and they say, I'd like my Christmas lights done by you.
Yep.
I suppose then there's okay, well, what do you want? Do you want like colored? Do you want like warm? What? And then I guess a part of it would be, as you say, since you do it custom, I suppose you don't just show up and start hanging. You kind of take measurements and sort of see what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Make a plan ahead of time rather than, as you say, grab a box. You're just hanging them, hoping them for the best when you're doing it yourself, right?
Yeah. So someone would reach out and say, hey, I'm interested in some Christmas lights. And I provide free quotes. So I'll set up a time, go to their house. Doesn't take very long, but I'll just kind of ask them, hey, what do you want to get done? Most people, if they're starting out, they might want to get just the front of their house done. Mm-hmm. So right to the corner. And I'll measure it all out, and then I'll send them an email with an exact price, a quote. Mm-hmm. So my pricing is I charge $8 a foot, which is lights and labor. And I can give them an exact number and say, this is how much it'll... So most people, average home, be about $400 to $800 to get the front of your house done. Mm-hmm. Some people say, no, I want you to wrap the whole thing. I want it to be in the back so I can use it as summer lighting on the patio.
Yeah.
Or whatever they might want. And from there, if they say, yep, that sounds good, I want this to get done, then I'll schedule them in. And then I have a bunch of materials. So I order them in bulk. And then I have to build the line for them.
Yeah.
I even brought a little section in. Obviously, the The listeners won't be able to see this, Dub, but you can see it.
Yeah, and also we are live on our social media via video. So you hold that up a bit there, Kyle, and you can see the camera just right to your left there. He's kind of holding up the lights.
Basically, they come in massive strands like this.
Oh yeah.
The wire itself comes in black or white, so you can match it to your trim as best as possible. And one thing you'll notice is that the wire itself and the balls, everything is a little bit more sleeker and cleaner.
Yeah.
So when you're hanging it up and you're leaving it there all year, you won't notice as much in the summer. And then I prepare the line. So it depends what kind of color scheme people want.
Yeah.
Most people, about 95%, choose a white. There's two types of white. There's the warm white and the pure white. That's what most people are doing. And so I take the bulbs and I hand screw them in ahead of time. And then I bring all my materials to their house and away I go and just kind of cut and set as I need.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if anyone's done this, but I suppose you could customize to the point of, as you said, maybe you want coloreds kind of around your house, but for the patio, you want the warm ones so that you can use them throughout the year, right? So again, you could do this,
yes,
right? You
yeah,
could set
absolutely.
It up. Yeah. What about trees? Can you kind of do trees and other things as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I sell a smaller light that wraps around trees in strands. And so you can wrap up your trees in white and multicolor, kind of whatever you like. And so then I can build extension cords that plug them all in. So trees are an option. Some people wrap their posts in the front of their house or their railings. Some people line their fences. It's kind of whatever you want. Sky's the limit for what you want.
Now, you said in the Lower Mainland you used to do this kind of as a service, along with kind of other things as well. Take me back really as far as you want to, being a kid or whatever. Were you always sort of inclined to maybe be an entrepreneur and sort of own your own business and kind of work for yourself in that sense? Again, your day job's a firefighter, so you work for the community. Yeah. But this side business, you're like, I want to be able to do this and choose my, when I work, how often, that kind of thing. Has this always been something
that's a great question. Yeah, a little bit. I think the biggest part of it is it's kind of a fun challenge. It's something that you get to build and grow, and you get to adapt to new problems and try and it's basically like a cool project that you get to work on, but at the same time you're providing a service that I'm really the only one in town that's doing what I'm doing. There's one other company that's offering something slightly differently, but people are very excited with the product. They get to have some nice looking Christmas lights on their home. So it's great to provide that service, but it's also a fun challenge to start a business and to try and help it grow. And it's been fun.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if you're listening or watching, you might be like, well, why are you talking about installing Christmas lights in January? Well, you're wrapped up for the season, as that's kind of what your business model is. But you were saying beforehand, you're already looking ahead to, I think, kind of the early fall and sort of starting again. You're putting together a list of people who might be interested. So tell us a bit about that. If someone's listening and they're like, I'd love some professional Christmas lights. I can wait till next year. Maybe they want to convince you to do it before then. But anyway, what should they do? How does this process go?
Okay, so they could get a hold of me. There's a few ways. You can look me up on Facebook at Rooftop Lighting. You can send me an email to rooftoplightingfsj@gmail.com. Or if you're really stuck, you can just Google me. It took me a while, but now I'm on the Google. And if you search Rooftop Lighting, you'll see it there. It'll have links to a phone number and an email. And if you just send me a message, say, hey, I'm interested in getting some Christmas lights done next year. It's not a hard commitment, but it just means you're interested. Yeah. I've been building a list of names and phone numbers. And so my plan is to start in August, actually, start in the summer. This year I kind of ran out of time. Yeah. It gets a little challenging when the snow and the ice fall, but so I'm going to start even earlier just to give myself that time. So if anyone's interested, they can reach out and I can add them to that list for August.
Okay. And I just want to double check. This is the phone number I have, 604-761-9700.
That's it, Deb.
All right. So if you hear that again, 604-761-9700. You can give Kyle at Rooftop Lighting a call and talk about your professional grade Christmas lighting needs. Kyle, thanks so much for stopping by and chatting with us today. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Deb. Thanks for having me on.
Join us next Thursday for the next